Hola.
Hello, Jordan Barry, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Oh, dingus.
Your head's a bit too high, can you lower the seat at all?
A bit too high, did you change the seat?
Yeah. And move a bit more central?
You're moving forward, that might be good. Nice.
Alright, that's cool. You can see...
Chihuahua.
Good to have you here, Jordan.
Certainly. Feel very close to you.
Okay. Hey, a lot closer than my last interviewee. Okay, so here we have Jordan Barry. It's a pleasure for you to come down, Jordan.
Hello.
Always lovely having you.
Lovely to come
Don't
on.
look at the book as much.
So
You're talking to someone.
So we just thought that we'd ask you a couple of questions.
Sounds good.
This interview process is just for a reason. So the first
For a reason.
I'm engaged. So the first question that I have for you, Jordan Barry,
Yes, certainly.
is firstly, what are your top tips as a sound designer for the company?
That's an interesting one. I'd probably say finding good resources is the key essential ingredient of good sound design. I think that if you have good source material, it's much easier to create good things than it is to have not as good source material and then try and work with it to a point where you're like, it's okay, but if it doesn't start off well, then it's just no good. It's like they say you can't polish a turd.
Yes.
So
you can roll it in glitter.
You can.
But even
and sometimes that does work. But sometimes...
But most of the time,
but most
don't
of the
go
time,
rolling poo in
ain't
glitter.
great. It ain't great, chief.
Kids.
So yeah, I'd say resources is key. Finding good places that you can get good source materials that you can work with better. If you can get kind of packs of source and stuff, that's even better because they all sound kind of similar.
Just to make your life a little bit easier, really, as well. I can imagine it feeds into your workflow, your efficiency in time, if everything is there for you of good quality.
If the sources are better, then I don't have to spend loads of time trying to make them sound okay just to use and then change them.
Because it can be quite a time-consuming process, sound design.
Sometimes it can take a long while. But you can't overestimate sometimes just recording the sound yourself.
Yeah.
That's probably usually the best way. If you hear something and you're like, you know what, I could use that, just get a little decent recording of it.
So I've heard that in one of the 1975 tracks, a snare of sorts was recorded on an iPhone.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show, folks. Next question. So the next question that our fans have written into you is what are you describe the sound world
of the game.
Of the game, I'm assuming, yes.
Describe the sound world.
Yeah.
It's a very open-ended question.
Well, that's exactly what I said. Harry Cooper. Describe the sound world.
Well, elevator pitch. Come on. What does the game sound like?
Sounds dark and eccentric.
Oh, I think it does.
As per the model.
I'm surprised you even got that. So, so describe the sound world to me, Jordan Barry. Describe to me the sound of Dusklight. Let's keep it relevant.
Well, it is a future dystopian scenario. There is lots of dystopian, futurist stuff in said scenario. The scenario, you could say, is dystopian future.
Well, that is good. That is good. Now,
it's dark and eccentric in that setting. You could say,
taking a lot of boxes
that the scenario is dark and eccentric set in a dystopian future.
Well, that's all we need from you. Tune in next time.
Glad I can be of service.
So, would you say that, as far as the sound design is concerned, because what a lot of people get not confused about, but understandably caught up on, is they think that dystopia definitively implies sci-fi. Is that the case?
I don't think that is the case, because sci-fi, I would say, is a genre of potential dystopian futures. However, the general rundown, destruction, post-apocalyptic, you might say, future doesn't have to be necessarily sci-fi. No. It could be a regressive technological problem.
Yes, issue. Worldly problem.
Yeah. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, we've gone really futuristic with it. Sometimes things happen and they actually scale back
Reverse.
advancement and they regress to a point, some might say Victorian.
Where,
But not in this instance.
where little boys are handing
Little
out
boy.
papers on the streets, sweeping chimneys.
Read
with
all
nothing
about
but
it.
their hair.
Read all about it. Please, sir. Can I have some more?
Well, here's an interesting one from Dave in Shropshire. He says, "What software do you use? What software do you use?
I use Cubase.
Why do you use Cubase? When there are so many good doors out there, why do you use Cubase?"
Well, I was employed to do the sound design and I've had very little complaints. So people that use Ableton, for example, who haven't been employed, should shut the fuck up. Respect.
There's a lot of discrimination with this.
I think they're all similar enough so that it doesn't make a huge difference. I've just used Cubase for years and I've had a very
It's what you're
successful
used
career
to.
using it.
Yeah,
So
indeed.
why would I change?
Doors are very simply they're things that offer you very similar features. There are some that include these things, but
They're just
overall,
tool sets.
it's personal preference.
I've clearly started to impose myself.
You come forward like,
I'm like, I've come for you.
fuck you and your Ableton. So,
What is Ableton?
Writing your Ableton.
Ableton.
What is this
Your
Ableton
sheets?
they speak of?
So, what are your biggest inspirations, if at all?
I wouldn't
What
say
if you're
I
at all inspired?
Well, yeah, because I don't think.
Sound design wise,
Well, yeah.
despite the fact that it is sci-fi, I would say one of the main things that got me into sound design was Mass Effect. the
Yeah,
game.
that's cool.
Because when I first played those games, oh yeah, baby, that's just stuff. Stuff.
This stuff.
Cut. We got a little something.
Oh,
Thank you. So yeah, Mass Effect. The sound design of that game was very incredible. And when I played it, I was like, "This is amazing. I want to know how to do this."
Yeah.
Specifically, the big alien spacecraft Reaper.
Yes.
Things, they make a huge kind of wobbling whoop sound, and it was really interesting because I actually watched a thing.
Yes, continue.
I actually watched a thing about the sound designers that made that sound, and they said that they made it by hitting a massive American garbage can with like a baseball bat,
Cool.
and the resonance of the lid
Yeah.
was what they used to make the sound of it.
Oh, okay, cool.
So the lid kind of went like wah 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 wah,
Yeah.
and then they obviously manipulated
Yeah.
that significantly with all kinds of different effects, and
That's
then
cool.
like phase shifting, and then they basically pitched it down a lot, and then it sounded like the Reapers that they used
That's
in
really
the game,
cool, yeah.
which is really interesting, and that kind of feeds into what I said before about how making your own sounds can often be the best way.
Exactly.
You can do a lot with good source material.
Anything, the
So that was a
world
good
is your-
sound, and then they made like 20 different sounds out of that one thing.
Yeah.
So.
That's a
Yeah.
good point. Is that you can make so much from so little.
Yeah. So even though that was sci-fi, it was a good inspiration for me initially to get into
Yeah.
doing that kind of stuff and
What a
learning
great
about
game.
it.
Okay, that's a wrap.